right, we will move on to item number 13, which is discussion and/or action on allowing feather flag signs as special purpose signage in section 3.12.037, temporary signs requiring permit, extending the exception temporarily during pandemic and promoting local business. Mark?
I gave you the section in our code that talks about these special purpose signs, and normally they're only good for 21 days, and then with council approval, they can be up to 60 days. However, this is a unique period of time, and we have one business in particular said that it's hurting their business by not having them, and we didn't know if the council wanted to go on and consider allowing, because of the time we're in right now, to allow this to be extended for a certain period of time. That I didn't set a time limit, I don't know, 6 months, whatever, to allow these signs to continue. Some say they're just terribly ugly and they don't want them at all, so it's, I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Well, I don't think they last 6 months.
Well, I certainly have a comment that we went through a couple of long workshops talking about signage. I'm not as opposed to the feather signs as other people are, but I will say that the problem we have with our temporary signs, our banners, and feather signs is that they don't do anybody any good when they're plastered all up and down the boulevard. So what we had talked about in our workshop before was to make an exception with like a new business to be able to put them out for a certain period of time. If you only got one business with the feather signs, I agree it gets attention, but when you have 5 or 6 businesses up and down with the feather signs, it becomes clutter instead of attention getting, in my personal opinion.
And as long as we're, it's one of those things, I don't think I've ever stopped somewhere because of feather signs, so I'm not, I don't understand that. So,
I think
that's a personal opinion too, but I mean, I kind of wonder if this particular thing is as critical to, I mean, I certainly feel for the businesses that are saying this is helpful, this is driving business here, but at the same time, I don't see how having a few feather signs out is driving business. So,
To me, what a feather sign does is make you aware that they're there. If they're an established business that's having hard times like most of us are because of COVID, I don't think it's going to bring more people in. If you've got a new business that people aren't aware that you're there, I agree that these kind of things will make somebody turn around and look and see why they have feathers, but not if they just passed 10 other sets before they came, is my point. So,
My only problem with them is some of them have outlived their usefulness. They're already faded and everything.
He was having decent business.
Wait a minute, Dean.
He's been down, his business has been off completely, and he was in conservative and having to close.
who is this? I didn't hear what we didn't hear what all you said, Dan.
Dan, could you repeat that?
Yeah, the business owner that contacted me said that since we made him take them down, his business is falling off. It's been off anyway due to the pandemic, but since the flags are down, his business is falling off so much that he's in fear of having to close now.
And you're talking about dish, is that correct?
Yes.
He was just asking if there's any way that he could have them put up for at least for a while, trying to survive. I told him that was the council's decision, we don't have to talk about it. I agree that, I'm like Darren, if you have them scattered up and down the boulevard, I don't know that it does that much good, but in this particular business, he's trying to find himself where the flags were.
How about we split the difference since we're under COVID and let them have them an extra 2 months?
I'm good with that. I mean, it's not something that, it doesn't, I don't know how
I
everybody.
can't go with 6 months.
How everybody else's feelings are, but, you know, I've never stopped somewhere because of it. At the same time, it doesn't strike me, it's just something I don't notice, to be honest with you, wherever they are. So I don't personally would not have an issue with that. I don't know what the rest of, what the
What
council.
was the suggestion?
That we just give them a 2-month extension,
Extension, so what do we have now?
with 21 days, isn't it, Warren?
Well, 21, and then you can do it up to 60, but you're well past all that.
Yeah. Just offering a splitting of the difference.
How many times a year? Or
Do what?
how many times per year?
Uh,
I think you were
it's
on
on-
the March 15th.
They're only allowed to use it on grand openings and special occasions, that's all,
Right now.
for right now.
And so the person asking this wouldn't help, right, if they're not very good.
They're already established, because
Well, but we would be,
We're giving them an extension though.
yeah, I think what John is saying is that in addition to allowing that, it would give anybody under the pandemic circumstance, an extra 2 months in addition to that, regardless of whether it's a grand opening or any sort of new business, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have had a lot of discussions and people very verbal about it in our workshops, wanting to do away with them, period.
Yes. I agree with that.
So I would say, you know, the exception would be to let anybody and everybody have them during the COVID pandemic and put a stop date on it right now. You can put them up to a certain date, but then they shouldn't even be in the permit process already. So we're talking about extending something that we've already had verbalized by a lot of people that we didn't want them to be there, period. So my concern is extended 21 days, and then when do you stop that? So it just sounds like to me from now on until we come back to city council and decide COVID's over.
Well, I agree with putting a date on it.
That's what I said to them.
Yeah, March 15th.
So I would be good with that if we're doing until March 5th. Anybody that wants to put them up now and leave them all the way up until March 15th, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think we ought to limit though, I don't think they need 20 of them out there.
Well, I don't know how you're discriminating if you do that. Me, let everybody have them, but I wanna say, come March 15th, we do away with them.
Yes.
Or we change the signs like we've talked about several times, maybe change it to where they are allowed to have one business having a grand opening can have one for 30 or 60 days or whatever y'all deem. I'm afraid about putting something in here that's for COVID that all of a sudden just becomes the new norm because we have had an extremely hard time changing our sign ordinance.
For a temporary
Well, I agree.
grace period.
So if we did it till the 15th, is there something that can be put in there that makes them obsolete after that, or goes ahead and addresses the sign ordinance for that section?
I think at some point, my understanding, Marvin, was gonna be, we're gonna be working on the sign ordinance, hopefully in the near future. But at this time, it gives a little breathing room for them, and then, we put that's the end date, unless we come up with something with a new ordinance, there won't be any more allowed. Unless it's unless we leave it with the old ordinance after that date, if it's a new business, but any old business, by the 15th, they're all signed to be down unless it's a new business.
And then not be allowed to get another permit after the 15th is what you're saying, is that correct?
That's what I'm saying.
Can we do that?
I think, to clarify, I think what I'm hearing is that Darren might be thinking that we're amending the ordinance so that we're gonna prohibit them from now after the 15th.
That's
I don't think that,
Yes.
I don't think it's posted to do that. I think it's only posted to, allow other flag signs and their special permit signage.
You're referring to posted on the agenda?